Hi guys, Dr. Victoria Scribble here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. And I had an urgent request to do a reading on Super Tuesday. So I'm going to do that right now. I still have to do the card reading for the month of March. I will get to that a little bit later in the day. So, I am a Super Tuesday state. I live in Massachusetts, so I will be voting for my preferred nominee. I think y'all know who I'm voting for, but and since South Carolina, Tom Steyer and Pete Buttigieg have stepped down from the running, so who do we have left? We have, of course, Bernie, Biden, Bloomberg, Klobuchar, Gabbard. Is that it? Warren. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Liz. My senator. Oh, yes. I knew Liz was in for some reason. Okay. So let's see. Super Tuesday. I think I'll do a general reading on Super Tuesday. And if I can't get an answer, which I don't know how I could, but you never know where the cards take you. And then I'll do it on the individual candidates, how they do. All right, Super Tuesday. So show me Super Tuesday. March 3rd, 2020. What do we need to be aware of? What's going on? What's the energy for the day? Super Tuesday. All right. Okay. Finish shuffling. All right. All right, here we go. Okay, the Six of Pentacles. So that's the first card. I think I'll just do all the cards and then we'll talk about it. Crossing. Okay. Knight of Swords is crossing at the root. Oh, goodness gracious. We have the Page of Pentacles. In the past, we have the Three of Wands. Three of Wands. In the sky, a lot of pentacles. We have the Queen of Pentacles. Immediate future. The Seven of Swords. That's interesting. How it's seen from the outside. The Nine of Cups. The domestic situation. Queen of Wands. Hopes and fears. The Hanged Man. Outcome. The Ten of Pentacles. Okay. Well, there's certainly plenty of pentacles in this reading. So, as I read this, I see that the immediate energy is the Six of Pentacles, right? This is the energy of the day, and this means a couple of things to me. We see that there's this young sort of Lord Fauntleroy character handing out alms to, I would imagine, the poor. This card is associated with fair distribution of resources. It's also associated with giving people what they deserve to have, right? And because it's coming from the hands of the rich and going into the hands of the not so rich, I would imagine, I'm going to say that this is there's a word I'm looking for now. There's a word that they use in politics, referendum. That's the word. You can understand why it was like all messed up in there. How often do I say referendum? can't even say it. A referendum on the fair distribution of resources. Okay. Now, what's crossing that is the Knight of Swords. And I feel like that's a tax. That is a tax. That is perhaps an attacks from somebody you can't see their face. Okay, so the attacks are coming in. So could that be cyber stuff? It's possible. It's possible. At the root of this, we have the Page of Pentacles. And I see this, the Page of Pentacles is like the start. It's usually the beginning of a some sort of business thing, right? Some sort of project. Okay. But I want to say that at the root of this are small donations. Small donations. Okay. Because the page is small and little, right? So in the past, we have the Three of Wands. So I feel as though, and this is sort of waiting for your ships to come in, looking over the ocean and such. I think that there is, people have been waiting for this. People have been wanting to see what this is going to wrought. I feel like there's going to be plenty of people voting. So I do believe that there's going to be more people voting than perhaps the last Super Tuesday. So in the sky, we have the Queen of Pentacles. And the Queen is about sustaining. It's about sustaining whatever element she happens to be holding. In this case, Pentacles. So whereas, quite frankly, the first three cards, or first four cards, the Page, the Knight, the Page, the Six, the Knight, the Page, and then the Three of Wands, look to me as if they were talking about Bernie Sanders. The Queen of Pentacles up high is people are concerned with having enough to take care of their families, having enough. Now that is, that's good for depending on who the people are who are worried about money for their families. So, of course, if they can get the amount of people out there to vote that they think they can, then the working class going out to vote, then there's more working class than there is sort of, we'll call it donor class or middle class or whatever other class there is, the people who are less likely to vote for Sanders, okay? There are more working people than there are those people. So if it has to do with competing energy for who wants their family fed, the working people will overcome that. Now, that being said, the immediate future is the Seven of Wands. So I feel like there's a little bit of dirty tricks here. But that being said, I feel as though there's going to be two people that come out of this, and they're going to be the two people, which kind of makes sense in a way. That's kind of what Super Tuesday should do. So there's going to be two left. All the other people are going to go and drop out, and that would include Mike Bloomberg, if in fact Mike Bloomberg isn't one of the two that gets picked, right? Okay. So how is it seen from the outside? Wish is coming true. And, we've suffered through how many years? 3 years now of 3 years and some odd months of Trump. And everything that the powers that be tried to do to stop him couldn't stop him. The only thing that can really stop him at this point, unless something unusual comes up, which is always possible with him, is the vote, right? The vote, the people. And so the wish card, and it's how it's seen from the outside, says to me that people have been wanting to vote for a long time. Okay. The domestic situation is the Queen of Wands. This is a feminine energy. This is a feminine energy. This is a fighting energy. If I were to put an energy between Amy Klobuchar and Liz Warren, the only two women remaining. Oh, and there's Tulsi too. Okay, but of the two ones that actually have so this of the two females, well, three females that are left in the race, this feels to me most like Elizabeth Warren. So in the domestic situation, I live in Massachusetts. It's possible, I don't usually read like this, but it's possible that she drops out after this. But as a domestic energy in this reading, it is very much, I feel like the female vote will come out. Now, whether they vote for Warren or they vote for Bernie or they vote for Klobuchar or Biden or whoever they vote for, I think there's going to be more women out, because I think women are sick and tired of feeling like they have no power and yet they're responsible for everything. So hopes and fears, we get the Hanged Man card, and so I would think that's a fear of shenanigans, perhaps a fear of feeling powerless. That's how I feel the Hangman card is. But in the end, we get the Ten of Pentacles, and what that says to me is that the one person with the most money is going to do the best. Now, I realize that could be Bloomberg, but I'm going to do them separately. But whoever does win has to be well-funded. And the most well-funded candidates are Bloomberg and Bernie Sanders. So let's see what's underneath it all. We have the Four of Cups. I think this is a little bit of a disappointment for somebody, but there is something being offered, something else being offered. So perhaps if this is Liz Warren, maybe somebody's going to offer her the vice presidency or something like that. But I don't think that would be said anyway right away or right up front. Okay, so I did that just as a general. Now we're going to look at specifically how each candidate does. And I think what I'll do is I may use a different deck. I'm going to use the Wild Unknown and for each candidate. And all right, so let's do Bernie first because he is the front runner. Oops, goodness gracious. There we go. Things are flying out of the deck. Okay, let's see how Bernie's going to do on Super Tuesday. And I'm just going to pick it from anywhere in the deck here. We get Justice. Well, that's a nice card. The Four of Cups. That is the same as this card. The Ace of Swords. The Six of Wands. And the Ten of Wands. So, I feel as though Bernie finally gets justice. That's what this feels like to me. Finally gets justice, which I think is coming for him. I mean, in the best possible way, as opposed to justice coming for Trump. But there is some emotional upsetment. There is something that comes out of this that is emotionally perhaps difficult. I almost feel like somebody is going to, there's this sense of it's good, but it's not as good as it could be because of somebody's actions. The Ace of Swords, I think this is indication of the front runner, right? Holding the sword of power. And we get the Victory card, and then we get the Ten of Wands. And so it feels to me like he is victorious in this, but in that victory, he takes on more burdens. He takes on more burdens. And that's one of the things that we worry about with Bernie, because he's such a hard worker and he's such a dedicated, um, champion for the people. We don't want him to literally kill himself in the process. Okay, so let's do Bloomberg, right? Let's do Bloomberg. Okay, this one popped out. Oops, sorry. We have the Five of Cups, so that's disappointment. This is the Four of Wands. This is when I see this, I feel like there's a focus. I'm going to continue and see what else comes up, because I had a thought about that. The Five of Wands. Okay. The Father of Pentacles. Oh, it's him. And the Hermit. Okay. So this says to me that he's going to be disappointed with the results. He had a focus. He had a plan, and the plan got like smashed to smithereens. That being said, he still has an awful lot of money, and he's going to work in the background. Let's see how Biden fares. The Nine of Swords. Not a good card. Sorry, Joe. The Mother of Swords. The Three of Cups. The Death card. Oh. And the Seven of Swords. Okay. So these don't look good for Joe. The only card that looks good for Joe is this. This is a celebration card. And the Mother of Swords here, it's very interesting. Amy Klobuchar is a Gemini. I'm going to do her. So I don't think that Joe Biden is going to be the other person who comes out victorious in this. So far, it only seems like it's Bernie from these cards. All right. Let's do Elizabeth Warren. How's Elizabeth Warren going to fare? She may do better than expected. I think she's going to do better in Massachusetts, although Bernie could do better. He could. I think she's going to do good in Washington State. Liz. Oh, no, didn't pop out. It might yet. Didn't pop out. Okay. Okay, we have the Father of Cups. The Six of Wands. The Ace of Wands. Well, that's good. The Five of Swords. And the Daughter of Cups. So these are very interesting cards. Except for the Five of Swords, they're pretty good. But I almost feel like she's going to be offered vice presidency through this. That's what this feels like to me. So let's see Amy Klobuchar. How is Amy going to do? We have the Empress. It's a powerful card. Wouldn't it be interesting if it was Amy Klobuchar and Bernie Sanders? That would be unusual. The Mother, yes, the Mother of Pentacles. She's kind of got that vibe, a little bit. The High Priestess. These are very powerful feminine cards. The Father of Wands. And the Emperor reversed. So I feel like she ups her visibility. She ups her, there's a word for this that they use. Like her stature, there's a different word. It's not stature. People see her. People see her. And I think it's going to help her in the future. I mean, I guess it could help her right now. All right, so who else is left? Tulsi. Let's pull a few cards on her, considering she's still willing to be in it. I think I forgot somebody. I'm pretty politically, aware in a way. I like pay attention, and if somebody I forgot, they're probably going to be forgotten by everybody else. Tulsi, the Moon. The Three of Swords. The Eight, is this an 8? 1, 2, 3. Eight of Pentacles. The Mother of Wands. and the Judgment. So I think that there's a couple of things that this card, and a couple of things that came to my mind when I was pulling these cards. Tulsi is in a world of her own, for sure. She has her followers. She has her the people who are very um, connected to her, very much. In a strange sort of way. It's almost like a cult. It's like Tulsi or bust, right? Um, but I think that this is going to be I think perhaps reality comes in and gives her a disappointment, but it doesn't. She still has connections. There's still a web in which she is the center of the web. And she is going to protect her children, so to speak. Um, and then there's going to be some sort of awakening for Tulsi. And this awakening could be that, it's time to um, get out of the, um, get out of the fight. Or it could mean that she branches off into a separate, sort of a separate, um, like they talked about her going to be for the independent, becoming an independent. Uh, I don't think she'll do that. I don't think she'll do that um, for this run. Maybe for the next time, but she could do it for this run, even though she said she wouldn't. Um, at this point, I don't think she has much to lose with that. So that's what I see. It looks the only person who had really good cards. Well, the only two people who had really good cards, as far as I could tell, were Bernie Sanders and Amy Klobuchar. Um, and I feel as though, let me ask this question, and I'll go back to these cards. These cards. What was the Four of Cups about in Bernie's reading? Sort of the disappointment. The things are good, but there's like there's a rat standing on top of the cups. What is that? What is that for Bernie? What is that for Bernie? There it is again, the Four of Cups. Well, it's certainly for him. The Nine of Swords. That is nightmares, anxiety. The Eight of Pentacles. The High Priestess. And the King of Swords. I don't know. I almost feel like there's somebody close to him in his group that is hiding something and might at some point pull the sword on him. So I don't know what that's about, and I'm not into conspiracy stuff, so we'll just keep it at that. But Super Tuesday looks like Bernie's the winner. It looks like Amy Klobuchar's does better than expected. Looks like Joe Biden is out. Looks like Bloomberg is going to he's going to pull back. Okay, he's still going to work behind the scenes, I think, but he may not put himself out there. But if there's another candidate besides Bernie who shows promise, I'm sure he will put his money behind that candidate. Um, and then the fight ensues. So that's what it looks like. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Like and subscribe. I'll see you hopefully later if I can get my day together. I've gotten a lot accomplished today. There was just a lot on the list. So if I can get to the reading for March, the card reading for March, I will. Okay, guys, don't forget to vote if you haven't voted already. Go, go, go. I'm going to go vote first thing in the morning. I'm so excited to vote this time. I mean, I was excited to vote the last time too. Um, but I'm always excited to vote. I don't know. It makes me feel good. I go in there and I cast my vote, and I always come out feeling like refreshed. Like, yes, I did my civic duty. I voted. I put my voice out there. So, you know. All right, guys. Take care, and I'll see you later.